mighty beloved Helios speaks his heart to us. We offer him our heart's love and ask our mighty omnipresence to bless him and draw forth from the great central sun that greater love to make him forever aware of our love and our gratitude for all that the physical sun means to our world and this system of worlds. As the heart of love from the heart of the world ever gives its miracle light and life to this earth, so do we, in the answering call to that which comes from within the life of individuals, anchor within and around them our ever-expanding manifestation of light and the love of God's great miracle life is the light to this system of worlds that permits manifestation to come forth and forever release its blessings to mankind. And so in the call of love from your own hearts to the heart of this system of worlds, or to the great central sun, or to your own I am present, there comes the obedience to the law, to the demands of the cosmic law, that as that love reaches up to the greater love and life of the universe, there must come back the greater blessings to those who send forth that love to life. For love may not be denied, and therefore when the individual, speaking through the heart, reaching into the heart of the physical sun, the heart of the great central sun, comes to us with just love and gratitude to life, there are no barriers between, and therefore that call of love must be answered with manifestations that bring greater happiness and greater peace and greater perfection to the people of this world. And just as the law of your being is the expansion of the unfed flame in your heart until it enfolds you in the sun presence of its love, just so is the heart of the physical sun ever expanding its love to this system of worlds. And I assure you, the physical sun will ever grow greater instead of diminishing as some think. The law of love, the law of God's great miracle life in the great central sun, the law of light, the law of the sacred fire, is ever expanding perfection. And so when you allow the unfed flame in your heart to reach up to the greater manifestations of the universe and give recognition there to the greater life, there must come back to you the expanding power and love and blessings from the greater perfection in the universe around you. And so it is with your own private world, with your nation, and with the earth. And since this world only needs more of the fiery love of our life and our light, to be the consuming presence that dissolves and consumes the shadows of human desire, then, my dear ones, as you make yourselves a son of the fiery heart of my love, I assure you, my love will manifest into you and through you and around you the greater perfection which is within the physical sun of this system of worlds. And it is so within the great central sun. When the ascended masters from time to time retire from the activity of outer manifestation, they enter into the great, great silence, which is the great central sun. And there, abiding in the greater intelligence and greater power and greater perfection of the divine plan for greater manifestation, they draw the power to produce that manifestation at a certain time. When that moment arrives, that power releases. It floods forth its love, and within that love is the beauty, the perfection, the activity, and the manifestation that fulfills the great divine plan that ever goes on expanding the fiery heart of God. I assure you, you will have some of the most delightful experiences you have ever known when you begin to acknowledge yourselves as the sun presence of the fiery heart of God and the miracle life of those manifestations which you desire to bring into outer physical action to hold your mastery and dominion over this world. I assure you that your mastery depends on your acknowledgement and use, mark you, of the fiery heart of God that forever expands the activity of perfection through the light of its own love. And no matter what is manifesting as the shadows of human creation in this world, I tell you, if you draw the fiery heart of God in and around yourselves with enough intensity, those shadows cannot approach. And therefore, it takes your acknowledgement of your outer self as the fiery heart of God to make you master over evil. Because from within the heart of the sacred fire comes the ever-acting, ever-expanding love from the heart of creation to produce outer manifestation and then to govern that manifestation so it holds perfect balance that blesses all. So when you want to enter into the use of the miracle powers of the great God life of the universe, your mighty I Am presence, And the I am presence in the physical sun, the great central sun. It necessitates your acknowledgement and your announcement of yourself and your world as a sun presence in action at your point in the universe. And the sun presence must always have the fiery heart of God by which it lives. And so the sacred fire, as it has been known to mankind in the outer world, is the extension of the miracle life within the physical sun and the great central sun, of which you are all a part. Each individualized flame of God, the mighty I am present in the great central sun, is an extension of the flame from that great central sun into the substance of this world. Therefore, the unfed flame in each heart is the end, so to speak, of a stream of that sacred fire from the great central sun through the physical sun, through the individual. And so we are all one when we enter in to that acknowledgement of the sacred fire that calls forth its great miracle love of eternity into manifestation through the substance of this world. If you can recognize yourselves as the sun presence of your mighty I am, or the sun presence of the fiery heart of God, you will realize that since all light is one throughout the universe, all life is one, and all the love of God's heart that produces the manifested universe is one, and all its energy is one, you will not feel yourselves separated from me. Rather will you feel me abiding within you as a part of your own blessed I am presence. You cannot divide the great God life of the universe, for it flows everywhere. But your manifestation of the intensity of its love can produce in you and around you the evidence of our existence, the evidence of your oneness with us. And if mankind could only live in the picture and in the feeling of the sun, the actual sacred fire of the sun enfolding the physical body, and then from within the heart expanding the fiery heart of God's love. As you would hold the picture, you would automatically be compelled to reveal its perfection. Now let me show you how real this is. And I ask you to feel this with all your being. You once abided in that great central sun. You came from there. You once were that sun presence within the central sun of that fiery heart of God's love. And when you began your journey through the substance of this world, You brought your eternal identity of the unfed flame, which is the eternal you. You brought yourself into the substance of this world. And since you are a part of the great central sun, and you had to come forth through the physical sun, you are a part of the physical sun. And I still say, you are a projection, a sun presence of the fiery heart of God, just wearing a little bit of the substance of this world around the sacred fire of eternity. If you could always hold the picture of every cell in your body being a tiny sun within which was the fiery heart of the great miracle God life of the universe, every cell of your body would become self-luminous. And as the body becomes self-luminous, the atmosphere about you receives the radiation of its light. And wherever you would go, the light of your own life would be the pathway ahead of you. And you would never again know what the shadows were. You would simply dwell within the eternal light of the fiery heart of God. And in its great creative power, you would manifest instantly at your command anything you chose to bring into outer action to bless the universe around you with the beauty and power that is eternal happiness. The happiness of eternity is ever expanding from within the fiery heart of the great miracle God life in the central sun, that which forever fills the universe with greater perfection from within itself. And that is why, when you begin to understand what the unfed flame means, or what the sacred fire means, you will know that everything of perfection is self-sustained and self-expanding. And the hour, my dear one, that you recognize your own divinity, you will stand upon the altar of life, face to face with your beloved I Am presence, as the great divine director told you in the magic presence. Upon the altar of life will you stand face to face with your eternal reality, your higher mental body and electronic presence, ever abiding within that sacred fire. You will know is just part of yourself from which you can never be separated. If you will practice the presence of the Son of everlasting freedom, enfolding the physical body within that the fiery heart of God, the great, magnificent divine plan that your beloved higher mental body wishes to express in outer conditions will bring its manifestation very much more quickly, and I assure you, with very great joy. In that are the limitless ideas of such perfection, such beauty, such ever-expanding activity and joy, that you will know that to live in the sun of the fiery heart of God's love is, after all, your home. It is the place from whence you came, and you must return to it one day to be content to abide within it and to turn your back upon the distress of the shadows of the world. For once you enter in to that sun presence, your very presence will prevent the existence of the shadows. And then you know only the mastery of the sacred fire and its victory of eternal love. Oh, if mankind would only lift their attention to the heavenly manifestations that are ever-living proof of the miracles of the universe, from which they can draw without limit to produce here a like perfection. All it requires is the lifting of the attention and the flame of love from the heart to reach up to that which is greater and become a part of its raising perfection. And so, as you become aware of this, if you practice it, you will find the possibility of the victorious accomplishment of your ascension, the divine way of just rising and blending in to that which has always been the source of your life. It surely should not be much struggle or strain or distress to arise into that which is eternal love. And after all, my dear ones, if it were not for the love of the physical sun that gives the blessing of its light to the earth, in which is the intelligence that mankind uses through the powers of nature, how could there be manifestation in this world? Do you not see all perfect manifestation begins in the heart of love, the fiery heart of God's great love? If you choose to make yourselves a sun presence of its sacred fire, you will have no need for anything except what abides within it, for it will ever expand through you the greater blessings from the physical sun and the greater life and blessings from the great central sun. And it ever permits you to grow greater in the use of your master powers of life.